Okay, so we are alive, and let's see. Okay, okay, everyone, we are live. I am here at the Milton Artists Guild, and I brought a variety of things to share with you today. So I do have a glare on the screen. So I will might have difficulty. I think I'll be able to see your comments, though. I have it turned in such a way I should be able to see your comments. So let me just check my other screen. Okay. All righty. So yeah, we have a lot to share today. I did not bring my my sewing machine up because I tell you, it's quite hot today. In Vermont, it is a weird kind of a hot. It's muggy. It's not like the sun is out and hot like that. It's like the sun is out a little bit, but it's muggy. So, but still with that, I have my fan on me and I have a cup of coffee. And so, what I brought up to share with you today, some of you may not have seen these little rabbit ear scrunchies that I made. And so, because I didn't bring my sewing machine up with me today, I might hand sew a few of these today. And if you're interested in how to do it, I do have a video where I'm talking to you about the sizes. These scrunchies, the scrunchy part of them were typically um, like 14. Well, I was doing like if the less length, let's put it that way. If it's they're typically making these about 20 inches long. So the longer you make your scrunchie when you sew it either around your elastic or you're putting the elastic in it, you get more of the gatherings and you get more of that. Now you can make the scrunchie 14 inches like I did with this one. And the thing of it is, you don't get as much of the gathering. That's the only difference. This, you're going to get more of a scrunchy kind of effect. And so now the rabbit ears, and so I just cut out a bunch of them. They're super adorable, super easy. And I'll tell you, what the length is. I made them longer than I think it was seamworks.com. I had given them a shout out on the video that I was talking to you about. So these are made, I think, a little longer. So these are 14 inches. And you're just kind of making like a little bow. You can see you're just kind of making a little bow effect. And now I believe and I had talked to you about this, what I'll be doing with mine. Now, there's two ways to do this, I believe. There's a Carmella way, which is my way, totally non-traditional, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. But the way that they're showing how to make these is you take the fabric, you do, excuse me, you sew them back to back. Um, Leave your opening here so you can put them inside out, and then you just do hand stitch, top stitch that opening so you close it there. So having two pieces of fabric gives it just enough of that substance and kind of look. It's just adorable. So I love that. I really love that look. So that's how really you do these type of scrunchies. So the type that I'm going to be doing is just hand stitching and with jean with jean material. I just want to try it like that. I'm not necessarily even going to make it this style, but I want to make it so that when I'll use this as an example. This is the when I cut the jean material and I sashiko stitch it, I want to be able to do some, I want to be able to tie it like this and have it drop. So with jean material, if we did something like this, the back to back, this would be quite thick. I mean, it could work, but it would be quite thick. And it's all in kind of the style really that you want. So, so that's the rabbit ears. So this is something I'm focusing on for the art and craft show that we're going to have. Hi, how are you? That's good. Good. Thank you. That we're going to have in September, and it's going to be outside. So I have to have a tent. I actually do have a tent, but I don't know. It's really hard for me to get that tent up, and I could rely on some people here, but I'm not so sure. So I'm going to be hunting for tents. If anyone out there knows a nice little setup type of a umbrella, and I say tent, I mean umbrella. That's really because what I have, it is like a tent. It kind of goes up and a little bit down. So or canopy is what I should say. So I brought those today because I'll be at the guild for about 4 hours today easily. And I'll tell you what, the time goes fast when I'm here. But I brought also, I want to show you, you've seen some of these little coin bags. Now this one, I didn't put I'll show you the two latest ones I made just as of yesterday. And then I want to show you something my son is letting me borrow. And it is a ribbon maker. Now, good morning. How are you? Good, thank you. So it's a ribbon maker. And it's a lovely because when I when I make my coin bags, I typically am putting ribbons on the front there, but this and I'm tying them myself, and I usually have one beautiful bow. Now, let me just show you this. Also, for those of you who didn't see it, I am starting to make little keychain holders with my little coin bags. And this one is all, as you can see, machine sewn. That's why today I'll show you what I'm working on today. But I just love that. Let me know what you think about that because good morning. I hope everyone is doing well today. I can see a few of you out there. Thank you for being here. We haven't connected in a while. So but yeah, so this is the ribbon maker. So I'm going to show that to you in a moment. And I want to show you the last two that I made. Now, this I made this ribbon with the bow with the ribbon maker. Now you can see there's four bows, and you'll see how I did it in a minute. Now, I also put a little snap on this one, and I just did stipple stitching. So this one in particular, and I don't know if the person wants it, I made this for a particular artisan who gifted me with a lot of scrap. Actually, this fabric that you're looking at right now is what the artisan gifted me with. And like lots and lots more. The fabric we use to make the table runner. I want to show you the table runner. I brought it with me again. I brought it with me today to talk to you a little bit about it again because there were so many questions. And I brought another Kiwandi piece because I want to show you a little bit of the difference. And when I say I end up doing things that are inspired and they're a Carmella way, I say it's a Carmella way because I'm always blending, changing. I'm not sticking to any kind of a pattern or routine. And when people ask me, is this the way to do it, Carmela? I tell them, well, that's the way I'm doing it. And yes, if you want to do it that way, go for it. Because I highly encourage you to experiment. So now this is another one I made. And this is very different from my style. You'll see it right off the bat. I did not do any boro building. I didn't do any Kiwandi method. I simply used one piece of fabric. On the outside, I used one piece of fabric for the lining. I sewed it in place. I'm loving it. And I put the snap on. And yes, I made this bow with the little bow maker. And this is a very thin type of a bow. I just love it. So I love this. It's a little different. So those are the very latest that I just made. So and I have a bunch here that I need to continue. Well, this one is done, but I need to continue working on. And that's where my hand sewing today, as I sit here, will come into play. So I'm going to put those over there. And because those, and then I want to share with you the different snaps that I'm using too. Well, good morning, ladies. How are you? Good, good. Thank you. Enjoy yourself. If you have any questions, let us know. Now, these are the two pieces, and I'm going to show you the back in a moment. These are the two pieces I'm working on. This is not really, I'm going to show you this one here first. This is only Kiwandi inspired as far as you can see. The piece is going around the border. I stayed with Kiwandi stitching, kind of going around. But I think I might mix it up a tiny bit, but this is going to be a little coin bag. So I need to work on my stitching with this one today. So I'm going to put that over there. And maybe we'll do a little stitching while we're here live if you like. If you like me to do some, let me know. Now this is another, and then I have a few more Kiwandi pieces, and then we'll do some bows. This is another Kiwandi piece, and you can see in the back, I'm stitching the Kiwandi method, so it is Kiwandi inspired. So we've got that one. Now this is a piece that is closer to the Kiwandi. It's not authentic Kiwandi, but it's inspired. But it's closer to the way, with the exception of the folding, that the Kiwandi is done. So it has what they call fulas. This is in the language of the city women of Asia, who are descendants directly from Africa. This tradition, this is a piece of the tradition that they do today. This is called fula or flowers. So they put the tassels on each corner. The Kiwandi, it is not considered complete unless it has the fulas. So I'm going to put the screen down because I want to talk to you a little bit about the different ways that these two are done, because I have two to share with you. And then we'll do a little bit of stitching so you can see that. Hi, how are you? Good, that's good. So we're going to put this over here. Okay, so put this down for a moment. So with this piece, what you can see is I'm going around, and you see what a lot of people are referencing as a balance. You're seeing the balance a little bit more here. And what do I mean by balance? So balance is where the pieces are a little more similar in their size and shape, so that when you're going around with your stitches, the edges are more apt to be grabbed. It has more of a uniform kind of going around from the outside to the center. So that's what I mean by balanced, and that is closer to the traditional way. The other thing in the traditional way is they fold. I do not fold. I use all raw edges. So this is how I do the Kiwandi. Now, this is the table runner we did the other day. And some of you have followed me closely on that, so you know, and you were working on your pieces. But this is more of a Carmella way, where I'm going to put this down a tiny bit, where you see a big difference from one piece laid down to the next, to the next, to the next. And so the rows are not as balanced. However, and you've got to be a little bit more strategic as you go along. Now, I've seen the Kiwandi a little bit like this, where they're not worried at all about the sizes of their pieces. And they just go first row and they go around second row and then third row until they get to the center. So, but you do see the effect is a little bit different. So, is it Boro? It's not Boro, because Boro is it's built it's built row by row, and you don't even have to stay row by row. So, I wanted to do some Boro building today too, so I might do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these over here, and I'm going to do a little stitching because I'm with you right now on live. And that way, if you have any questions, you can ask. I feel like this piece in particular, I want more stitching. So I just want to show you in the back. You can see I already went around a few times. I got to the center, and you're like, well, Carmella, why are you doing more stitching? I want more stitching because I want the pieces to meld more into the base. I want them to be like this. I don't want any pieces to be loose. So that's why I'm going to. And how am I going to do it if I've already stitched everything? Well, this I'm going to show you how I'm going to do. So now I have to be careful because I'm working on a table that is not mine. And so I will be holding the piece up a little bit in my hand and stitching the typical sashiko visible stitching. So with this, because I got my base, I'm just going to work directly from the back of my base. I'm giving this a double knot. So now when this is going to be a couple things to consider. This is going to be a coin bag. So I'll be folding it up like that and putting this down. So a couple things I consider is I'm just taking a quick look at these pieces. These are all really small pieces. And I kind of test a little bit. Do I want this folded up a little more like that? Just kind of taking a look at that. I don't really want an edge kind of sticking out. And I kind of look at that before I end up putting my lining on and sewing my edges. I just kind of want to make sure everything is secure. Now, the other thing you can do that the do in Kiwandi is you can sew each of your pieces on, and that is also very similar to Japanese patchwork. I have found many different methods overlap a bit, but you can see just about all of them overlap in that they're using scrap fabrics. And so no, this coffee cup, by the way, this is eco-friendly and it keeps the coffee hot. It's ridiculously like, and the handle, I'm going to do the stitching in a minute, but I'm share this with you. The handle is like, look, so when you're walking, if you're out walking or hiking, It's super easy to hold. So anyway, with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start between the very first stitching that I went around. Oh, the other thing with Kiwandi is the other thing with your stitching, some of you may have heard me say this and maybe you didn't. But as you get closer to the center, it is totally perfectly normal that the fabrics bunch up a tiny bit. That's totally perfectly normal. So anyway, I am just doing like this because I don't want to hurt this table. Because what I do sometimes is I lay the piece down and kind of work like that. And then I give it a nice little snug. And when I get to my edge, what I want to do is if I'm not sewing the edge or I'm not adhering to the edge, what I end up doing is a back stitch. Hi, everyone. How are you? I end up doing a back stitch. But let's see. So this is going to really go over that very nicely. Now, remember in Boro, they work with raw edges. So basically, I feel like I'm borrowing. So, yeah, let me say this. I have some videos out there where I talk to you directly on doing like Kiwandi, but borrowing from Boro. I think that's where I'm talking about is that I'm using raw edges and stitching as though I was stitching in a Boro piece, but I am using the Kiwandi design. That's kind of where it comes to be a Carmella piece. And that's why I say it's not authentic. I would not dare call this authentic. And plus, I'm in this, well, this particular piece, if you look at this piece, I have all cotton fat quarters. Every single piece here, every single piece here is a cotton fat quarter. Someone the other day was telling me she knows where every single piece comes from of her children's clothing. She can remember. And I know I'm like that too. It's amazing how you can remember. I like look at these pieces and I know where I got them all. I don't even know how. I mean, how does that happen when sometimes I'm trying to remember something else I can't? But this, yeah, that's a true artist. We're all true artists. We know what we really want to remember. We know what we really want to focus on. But yeah, so this is what I'm doing. I want to make my width between my rows a little smaller. So basically that's what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to go around. Now, this piece I will be showing you. I'm trying to think here. We're on Saturday, so I might jump on to Patreon tomorrow. We'll be doing behind the scenes. So this will most likely be done. I'll probably be sharing this, but I'll be sharing I'll jump on YouTube at some point and share my most recent coin bags again. I'm getting a lot of coin bags and I really want a lot of coin bags. I would like at least, I was saying I only want a dozen, but I'm feeling like with using my sewing machine, I feel like I can have half of them be machine stitched and the other half be hand stitched. So maybe I can go for 50. Now, when you're doing your Kiwandi, it's very easy to know when you're turning the corner. I'm going to put this up because I'm not sure you're seeing it all. But here, right here, you're going to go all the way up to where the end of that row that you're following right there is, and you're going to turn when it turns. If you turn beforehand, the worst that people looking at it probably won't like distinguish it quickly unless they're going to study it. You're going to know right away. You're going to be like, oh crap, I turned and I shouldn't have. It was too early. But is it an absolute catastrophe? Do you need to tear it out? I would not. I would leave it in and put this down so you can see. I would totally leave that in. And unless that's something you truly really want to do. And it's a beautiful method. It's a beautiful skill. It's a beautiful art. And yes, if you're trying to make a piece closer to the authentic and you want to pull it out, that's perfectly fine too. You know, I mean, I totally understand that. Um, but the other thing now with your sashiko stitching is some people have told me, and I mean, some people have told me this is just things I'm thinking in my mind. Hi, Laura. Oh, it's so good to have you here. I hope you're enjoying your summer. I mean, it is hot here in Vermont today. I have the fan blowing on me right now. But yeah, oh, it's so good to have. I'm so glad everybody's here, stepping on board today with me. I'm finishing up my coffee. But yeah, some people have said that their hands hurt. Your hands should not hurt at all. Now, if you're using, like you're working with quilted material like coats, you're reflowing them, or you're working with heavy rug material, or whatever you're doing like that, there's methods there that will help your hands not hurt, like you use an industrial sewing machine. But something like this, you should be able to go in and out. Now, I tell you, something that I have not mastered. Laura says, it inspired slow stitch piece this word. Oh, awesome. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that, Laura. Yeah, I love it when I hear that you're working on your projects. And over at Patreon, we're able to share. We're able to go into our little community hut and share. Oh, yay, yay, yay. So, oh, I can't wait to see it. I tell you, yeah, so when you work on your pieces, your hands shouldn't hurt at all. Now, if you use a sashiko needle, I gotta tell you, when I use a sashiko needle, I have sashiko needles. So they do go in and out of the fabrics easier. But you gotta remember with sashiko needle, the traditional method of visible stitching, they're working in the top, they're working in the top layer of layered cotton fabrics, or and they're doing very tiny little stitches and they're doing a beautiful, beautiful job. I'm kind of going through to the base, and but still going through to the base, it should not, it should be an easy flow. But when I'm going to put this coffee over here, and I'm going to bring this up because I don't want to forget. I want to show you how this works. This is very interesting. Some of you might already know, but we'll do a little bit more stitching here because I just want to emphasize that when you're going through doing your stitching, none of this should be hurting or straining your hands. And when you go through a piece like this is the quilted piece. This is where it might be easier to work just in the top layer. That is closer to the authentic method, the traditional method of working in the top layer. So now I'm going to be doing um I have the piece at home, but I'm going to be doing a piece where I'm using very large pieces, very very silky pieces, and I'm just kind of mixing up, really using the Boro method. Um, and I'm going to bring you with me on that. And I think I might be doing that this week. Now, why am I doing that? Because I want to have a number of different pieces at my table. I want to show people, and guess what? For you, uh, w- in time, probably in September, I want to do a video for you, kind of a compilation of all of the different types of ways you can apply the Borel method and the Kiwandi method and mix it up and or whatever you're doing. And and I say Borel and I say Kiwandi, but we cannot forget the appliques of the early English, the log cabins of Swedish inspired. I find the Swedish inspired, kind of the way they're going around with their little blocks, similar in that little micro way that they're creating their quilts, similar to the Kiwandi where they're going around all the way around like that. And anyway, and I want to bring you to a few sites because I have a new tool that I want to share with you more, where I'm kind of in the corner and I'm able to pull up the uh, article, the website, the image, all of that, so I can share with you a little bit better. And I want to reference Henry Drew Ull, who he's going to be in my book. He's in my book, and with his permission, and he's done incredible. Look, and some of you might know of him, Henry Drew Wall. It's Drew, I believe it's AL. So he's done extensive studies in African art, extensive studies in Kiwandi, and he has programs in place where he supports the city women of Asia, who are, as I said, descendants of Africa where a Kiwandi originated. So there's a lot more work I'm going to be sharing on the Kiwandi inspired with you. So with that, I'm going to go around this I'll go around this just a little bit, and then I want to show you the bows because I know time is going by, and we are all on the weekend and we're enjoying our beautiful Saturday. Time just flies when I'm up here at the Guild. And I hope some of you are finding community, art places to connect with so you can get out there with other artists. And if you can't, yes, again, our that's what our Patreon is about, is to help people communicate, connect, get ideas. Something else I want to do is, but I have to, this is going to take me time because um I only know the legitimate connections here uh, locally, but I kind of want to find those international or national art communities too. So I want to be able to communicate a little bit more with them and then, share that information with you a little bit because it's just another option, just another way for us to communicate. You see how I kind of give that a little tug? That is what adheres these so beautifully. Now, I have seen authentic Kiwandi, yes, folded, but I've also seen it raw. I've seen some people, and you can do it individually. Like that's the beauty of Kiwandi. It's actually called soulful stitching, and it is a highly individualistic. Yes, they want you got to go with the basic construct and have your fulas or your flowers on each corner. They want you to do your row and then tuck your batting in, fold your edges and kind of go along. But does everybody fold their edges? I've seen pieces like mine where they're not folded. But I like the folded look, to be honest, too. And so maybe we'll do some pieces. I don't know though if I have. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I have the patience to fold each piece. I'm just gonna be honest. That's my personality. I think that's why I end up doing the raw edges. And I like the aesthetics. So basically, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to jump in between each one. I will continue that piece as I go and along here, and then I'll look where do I want it to be more stitches, and I'm going to say over here, and I'll go all the way around again, and I'll be doing that today. That's what I'll be doing here at the guild. Folding the edges is very, I'm like, and I shouldn't, and I gotta tell you honestly, I found that on my hands and wrists to be stressing them. And I felt like I'm probably not, I would love to go to Karnataka, India. I'm gonna tell you right now, Northern Karnataka, India, where the city women are. Now, I gotta tell you, I am gonna do research because I know that there are tours created, like scheduled and organized to go visit the city women creating Kiwandi. Like, wouldn't you just love to go to the village where they're creating their Kiwandi? And then, really learn the detail. Now, there's some people out there who have done that. They have YouTube stations, they write about it, this and that. But Henry Drew L would be the one where I would contact him and find out more information on that. I have a feeling, though, it might be too out of my range for financial, but I'm going to look into it anyway, and I'll let you all know about that. So now with that, I wanted to share this with you because this is my son. I don't know if I showed, yeah, I did show this earlier. So this contraption. Some of you may be familiar, but this is how I made the bows on these two um Boro inspired. Well, these are not Boro and these are not Kiwandi. These are just kind of a crazy method of Carmella using scrap fabrics. That's what these are. Actually, this is a little Boro because I put the bird on there. I cut the bird out and kind of, these are a few pieces you can't tell that they're different, but they are. So let's see. So the ribbon, you take, I'm gonna put this down. This is a ribbon maker. And I typically make the ribbons myself, but with this you can make multiple bows and you can really like you make a big, and some of you might already know how to do this, but we will do this and this will be the last part of our let me get my of our video here. Oh, I did want to share one more thing with you. I'm going to share this box with you, but I'm looking for my scissors. Here they are. Now, I asked my son, I said, can I use fabric with this ribbon maker? And he's like, you can. He said, but you have to be careful not to, um, I was looking for another piece. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to use this. This is not what I would typically use. I don't, oh yes, I do have it here. This came with the ribbon maker. So what it is just kind of a little piece of wire, and you just use a little piece. Now, I kind of want to get just a little bit thicker string because if you look closely at this kind of wire, you may have to watch that when you wrap it around your ribbon. So basically, I have to turn this way towards me for a moment. Well, I guess I can do it this way. This up here is these kind of go in, if you can see. You can see that space. So you let go and it's nice and says space. So the ribbon goes just like in that space. Nothing is cut. This is not cutting anything. You're just putting the ribbon here, and I'm going to have to turn it towards me. And you see, let me just show you this close up. You see the inches on, we'll bring this down. You can see the inches displayed on the piece. So you just simply make a little bow. You put your finger right on, let's say we want it to be 3 inches. So, and we tuck the bow down. Oops, I did forget one thing. This is new to me, right? You need to put the wire, you put the wire here first, or whatever you're going to tie your bow with first. Then you put your bow here, make sure it's nice and centered. Okay. So the wire is underneath the ribbon that you're using or the material you're using to make your bow. And then you put your finger, whatever you want it, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches. So let's say we're going to make a 3. So you just hold it like that, and then you tuck the bow in here. Okay. And then you do the same on the other side. So you have your measure. So you put your finger there and you tuck like that. Now I've got a little bit left here. So I'm going to go over to 2. Maybe I want a tiny little bow there. And I'm going to do the same on this side. Maybe I want a tiny little bow. And I'm just going to clip this while I've got it on my measure. I want to make sure it's nice and even. And I'm going to take another look at it, but now I'm going to simply bring this towards me. So I'm going to bring it towards me like that, and I'm going to tie. I'm going to tie that. And I'm going to pull this out and continue to tie. And this is, look how adorable that is. That is your bow. Now, what we're going to do is kind of pull it out, because this particular, now I gotta tell you, I got this at the thrift shop. I don't even know what I would spend on a beautiful ribbon like this. But look, I just pull it out, and what I will do is kind of wrap this around a few times and then clip it and make sure these are the way I want them. But look at that bow. I mean, now you're probably saying, well, Carmela, you could have just tied it. But no, because this is the reason. See, look, you have the measures are right there, and you have the piece holding it for you. And then you have the whole system here where you can simply tie it, because that's how this bow came out so beautifully. So I'm going to tell you, it has sped up my time in making my bows and adorning my coin bags or whatever I'm making a bow for. It has made it so much easier and enjoyable. So now I asked my son, I'm like, because he's a sewist, he has many different tools and whatnot for sewing, and he knows how to use them. And I'm like, well, how much did this cost? And I think he said it was well under 20. I think he said it was like 10 or 15, something like that. He got it a long time ago, but he knew it didn't cost that much. So, we can get pieces, and this is quality. This is heavy. So, but yeah, I wanted to share that with you today. And now I have one more thing to share. And is this little box. So a couple things in here I want to share. So bobbins. This has changed my life completely because I was actually still in 2024 winding up my own bobbins. So this costs like $2. And these, if you haven't look at how that's look. These are magnetic. Um, and I got them at they're generic, whatever they are at Walmart, but those were also a couple of dollars. These so I could use these snaps or I can use the magnetic snaps. So I'll be switching over to the magnetic just because they're easier to sew on and whatnot. And then there's different sizes of the snaps that you can use. Now I am also, as you know, adding now to my design is the keychains. And this is how I got them in a little package like that. So I wanted to share those few things with you. And I'm so glad that you were with me today. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. And yeah, I'll jump on. We'll be doing a lot of hand stitching and this week and artwork and with that, you have an absolutely beautiful rest of the weekend.